Hi and welcome to BeatleDave's Beatles channel. Today's video is episode 6 of my Apple Records album series, so please come and join me. So hello and a wonderfully warm welcome today to BeatleDave's Beatles channel. Hope I find all you fantastic people doing really well out there. Hope you've had a great week and thanks for joining me again on the channel. Well, the subject for today's showing is episode 6 of my Apple Records album series, and we continue with the Billy Preston LP, That's the Way God Planned It, which is another great Apple album which really didn't do that well on the charts, even though it had plenty of George Harrison involvement. So in this series then, I've decided to show each album in release date order, as well as showing any additional USA or reissue pressings, and of course I'll be showing some 8 tracks as well. So obviously I won't be showing any solo Beatles albums, just the other artists that were signed to Apple Records with the dedicated UK and USA releases. Okay, right now then it's time for something a little bit different. It's Ask BeatleDave, yeah! So yes, welcome to Ask BeatleDave, where I'll be answering your questions that you have about anything Beatles related, perhaps about anything that I've shown, or something that I haven't shown, about any of the solo projects, of the films, anything that you can think of, and I'll endeavour to answer it right here. So today's question is actually from Magical Mystery Mike. How you doing, Mike? I hope you're well, my friend. Don't forget to check his YouTube channel out, it's absolutely brilliant. And he asks, BeatleDave, what's the most valuable monetarily item in your Beatles collection? And also, what's the most valuable personal item in your Beatles collection? Okay, so starting from the first part of the question then. So regards to a single item of value, I'm thinking it's probably going to be the UK Two Virgins Mono Edition album that I have. They certainly don't turn up much these days, and there is no more than between 50 to 100 copies around. So they are really, really incredibly rare. Secondly, the most valuable personal item to me would have to be the signed Paul McCartney paintings book that I obtained by meeting Paul in London Piccadilly in December 2000. I mean, just meeting one of the Fab Four was just an experience that I'll never ever forget. So check my video out, guys. I'll just put it on the screen now for you to check out. So Mike, my friend, I really hope that answers them questions for you. And guys, if you want to get involved and contribute to Ask BeatleDave, why not just send me a question in the comments and I'll include it in a future episode. It's that simple. So come on guys, please please me by getting involved and ask me some super questions. Okay then, now moving on, it's time for I Call Your Name. So yes, it's on to them old shout outs, and it's a great big BeatleDave hello to Michael Harrington, Difficult Ass, Brian Kelly Music, Beatleman 69, hiya Ken, Nick Elias, Mark Jones, XT Stevie and Billy Langford. So that's a great big hi to you guys from yours truly, BeatleDave. So on to the main event then today, and it's episode 6 of my Apple Records album series, and it's the Billy Preston album, That's the Way God Planned It. So please come and join me. That's the Way God Planned It was the first Apple album released by Billy Preston on the 22nd of August 1969 in the UK, and the following month in the USA on the 10th of September. Billy had already been collaborating with the Beatles on the Get Back project earlier in the year, and of course he was credited on the Get Back Don't Let Me Down single. Billy was offered a contract with Apple Records, but he had mentioned he was still contracted to Capitol. But by the next day, they told Billy, "You're now on Apple." George Harrison was officially in charge of production, so sessions began at Abbey Road and Olympic Studios in Barnes as soon as George's commitment to the Get Back project had finished. During the recording sessions, and aside from George Harrison, other contributors to the album include Keith Richards, Ginger Baker, Eric Clapton and also Doris Troy, who had actually co-wrote 3 of the songs on the album. Also interesting to note is that Doris Troy herself was offered an Apple contract during these sessions just for providing very spirited backing vocals to Billy's songs. When issued as a single, That's the Way God Planned It became Billy's breakthrough hit in Britain, reaching number 11 in July 1969. But sadly the album didn't do as good and it failed to enter the UK album charts. Part of Derek Taylor's sleeve note read, "Billy Preston is the best thing to happen to Apple this year. He's young and beautiful and kind, and he sings and plays like the Son of God. That's all, just fill your heads with sounds." So let's take a look. So here it is then, the first UK issue of the Billy Preston album, That's the Way God Planned It, released on Apple Records on the 22nd of August 1969, catalogue number Sapcor 9. And this is a really great album. It's one of my favourite albums. It's certainly in the top 10 Apple record albums that I like. And you've got many great people involved in this particular album. Obviously George Harrison. You've got Ringo Starr doing a bit of drumming as well on this particular album. You've got the likes of Doris Troy, Eric Clapton, Keith Richard, Richie Havens and Ginger Baker, among others. There's some really great names there involved in this particular album. So we're going to start with the cover then. Obviously we've got a fully laminated cover there. I'm assuming this is made by Garrett and Lofthouse, but it doesn't actually say on the cover. Got that Billy Preston in great big letters there at the top, with the 4 Billys walking there, looking really cool and dapper. And at the bottom there we've got That's the Way God Planned It. This is a really nice sleeve. It's got a little bit of laminate lift or something going on there, a little bit of edge wear, but it does happen to a lot of these laminated covers, unfortunately. So let's turn that over, and then we've got Billy Preston there at the top, a great big apple there on the left, and That's the Way God Planned It. Got 6 really great pictures of Billy there. There's a great big essay there from Derek Taylor, with Apple Records and Sapcor 9 at the bottom left there. And then we've got all the track listings there, some really great songs on here. Obviously 3 tracks were written with Billy and Doris Troy, and there's also the actual single of Everything's Alright from here as well, from this album. This is a really soulful album. I really do like this album. It's really great. Some really great songs on here. So let's take a look at that spine then. So we've got Billy Preston there, That's the Way God Planned It, and Sapcor 9. So we've got the fabulous black Apple inner sleeve. It's a really nice one, that one. So on to the vinyl then. And this is a nice heavyweight, this one. It's a really nice vinyl, this. Of course, we've got the dark apple there, as you can see. This being from about August 69, so still quite a dark apple. This is in really beautiful shape though, this album. It's really nice condition. Obviously, you've got no sold in the UK details on this particular pressing because it's from August 69. They dropped that in about July 69. They actually dropped the sold in UK details. So at the top there we've got the Apple Records around the perimeter rim there, with the That's the Way God Planned It and Billy Preston there just above the centre hole. And on the left hand side we've got the 33 1/3 with the manufactured in the UK and side 1. And on the right hand side we've got the stereo and the Sapcor 9 catalogue number and the P 1969. And you've got all the track listings. Interesting actually on where the track listings are. They're not actually numbered, which is quite an interesting little thing. So the matrix then on side 1, nice and easy, it's Sapcor 9A-3. That's really nice. I really do like this album. Got some really great songs. Billy Preston's such a great keyboardist. Let's flip that over. And once again there we've got that Apple Records perimeter there, with the That's the Way God Planned It text with Billy Preston there, just above the centre hole. Then on the left we've got the 33 1/3, manufactured in the UK and side 2. And of course on the right we've got stereo, Sapcor 9 and the P 1969. Really great looking record. So once again then, the matrix on side 2 is Sapcor 9B-3. Starting to get really hard to find these particular albums now, these early Apple ones. So moving on then to my second pressing of Billy Preston's That's the Way God Planned It. This is the American issue, the very first issue. This was released on the 10th of September 1969 on Apple Records ST3359. And as you can see, this particular version is completely sealed. It's an absolutely beautiful seal. It's a really nice one. In fantastic condition. Same details as the UK edition there, with the big Billy Preston there at the top. And That's the Way God Planned It at the bottom. And at the top there again, you've got that giant apple with Billy Preston, and That's the Way God Planned It. Got the catalogue number there, top right, stereo ST3359. Same pictures there, with the same essay from Derek Taylor there, with Apple Records at the bottom. And we've got all the track details on the right hand side there, with all the credits, and produced by George Harrison. And then on the spine, you might just about see it, I think it's slightly just off centre there. There we go, Billy Preston, That's the Way God Planned It. And the catalogue number somewhere around there. So on to another USA pressing then of Billy Preston's That's the Way God Planned It LP, released on the 10th of September 1969 on Apple Records ST3359. And actually, when this was actually re-released in 1972, because of the interest in the Concert for Bangladesh concert, it was reissued with an alternate sleeve, which is incredibly rare. So if you got one of those, you think yourself lucky, because unfortunately I haven't got one of those. So as you can see then, this particular copy has been signed by Billy Preston, and I actually bought this around about 10 to 15 years ago actually on eBay, actually from the shop where Billy actually visited and actually signed. So it actually looks like it reads To Record Rover, Musically Yours, Billy Preston. So I'm hoping that's a legitimate autograph. It certainly looks it. I've had a look at a few on eBay and various sources, and they certainly looks real, this particular one. So it's a really nice autograph, that as well. So once again though, we've got exactly the same cover. Obviously we've got the autograph on the front, which makes it a little bit more special. And then we've got That's the Way God Planned It at the bottom there. And we flip that over, and we've got that giant apple with Billy Preston, and That's the Way God Planned It, with the catalogue number on the top right, with the same pictures there. And at the bottom we've got that essay by Derek Taylor with Apple Records, and to the right there we've got all the track listings down the bottom there on the right. Once again we've got that spine, a little bit cracked, a little bit on that spine, very prone to it, these issues. And there's a catalogue number there at the bottom. So it's got its original Apple white inner there for the USA copies. So onto this original USA vinyl. And this one's a really nice copy as well. It's in great shape. Really nice apple. I do like the American apples, they look really nice. And you got there at the top there, you got the That's the Way God Planned It with Billy Preston and stereo. And we've got the catalogue number to the right hand side, which is ST3359. And then we've got all the track listings at the bottom there. The matrix actually on side one is ST1-3359, nice and straightforward. So we're going to flip that then. Another great looking label, of course. Got manufactured by Apple Records Inc. at the bottom there on this label. And on the left there we've got the That's the Way God Planned It, and on the right Billy Preston with stereo and all the track listings there. And on the right, once again, you've got the catalogue number ST3359. And then we've got the matrix on side 2, ST2-3359. Very straightforward. So moving on now then, we've got the fantastic USA 8-track version of Billy Preston's That's the Way God Planned It, released on the 10th of September 1969. Catalogue number is 8XT3359. And this one's completely sealed, as you can see. It's in lovely condition. We've got there Billy Preston, you've got the title of the album there on the right hand side with the Apple logo, and of course you've got the catalogue number there, and you've got program 1, 2, 3 and 4, which is how they do it on 8 tracks, and of course you've got Apple 8-track stereo there at the bottom. And then on the reverse, once again, you've got Apple 8-track stereo, and you've got that again on the top, and then on the bottom itself you've got the album details and of course the catalogue number. So the final copy then of Billy Preston's That's the Way God Planned It I've got to show then is one that was part of the Apple Records campaign, and this was released on the 19th of November 1991, Sapcor 9, with the alternate number being 16479778841. So we're going to take a look at the album sleeve first then. Once again, it's a fabulous looking sleeve, exactly as the original there, with Billy Preston in big letters, and you've got the dancing Billies there, or the walking Billies, and That's the Way God Planned It there at the bottom. And we'll take a look at the back. We've got a little small apple this time with Billy Preston, That's the Way God Planned It at the top there, and of course you've got the barcode and Sapcor 9 there top right, with the pictures of Billy, and you've got that essay by Derek Taylor at the bottom, with disc 1, side 1 and 2 there, and disc 2 with the bonus tracks, side 1 and 2. Let's just open the gatefold. Fabulous gatefold on these, absolutely fantastic there. So there's the alternate album shot there at the bottom left, as you can see, of That's the Way God Planned It. That's a very rare album to find, with some other great pictures of Billy and some information there, his discography and all the tracks and details of this album on the right there. So let's just take a look at that spine. Nice big wide spine there. There you go, Billy Preston, That's the Way God Planned It, and the number. Just a plain white inner with this album, but they're in great shape. So we're going to take a look at the vinyl first then. This is record 1. Great looking Apple labels. So you've got Billy Preston there, That's the Way God Planned It, with all the tracks on the left hand side. Then you've got 33 and a third. You've got this collective number, which is for this particular LP, which is 164-7977851. Then you've got Sapcor 9 and side 1 with the stereo right at the bottom there. And the matrix then on this side is 797791 1-A1. Going to flip that over and spin that round. Another great looking label. Once again there you've got Billy Preston with the tracks on the left hand side. Then you've got the 33 and a third, and you've got that collective number for record 1, which is 164-7977851. And then you've got stereo there right at the bottom. And once again then the matrix is 797791 1-B1. Nice and straightforward. This sounds absolutely superb, this particular pressing. It's really nice. So we're on to the second inner sleeve then, which is exactly the same there. No thrills. So on to the bonus vinyl then. And once again, great looking labels. Slightly thin vinyl this one sadly, but still looks great. Got 2 tracks on this particular side. On the left there you got Billy Preston, That's the Way God Planned It, with the 2 songs. And on the right hand side there you got 45 with this collective number for this particular album, which is 164-7977861. And then you've got bonus tracks and side 1, with the matrix being then 797792 1-A1. And then we're going to flip that over. And then we've got 1 track on this side. You've got Billy Preston there, top left, with That's the Way God Planned It. And you've got the 1 track details. And then on the right you've got the 45. You've got that collective number again, which is 164-7 977 861. Then you've got Sapcor 9, of course, with bonus tracks and side 2. And at the bottom there we've got stereo. So the final matrix on this side then is 797792-1-B1. And this does sound really, really great, this particular version. But there's just very few and far between when you see these actually. Very hard to find now. So thank you all for tuning in today, guys, and I really hope you've enjoyed seeing those fantastic Billy Preston albums. And as always, I appreciate any comments I get from any of you guys, and I will always come back to you just as soon as I can. So the next Apple Records album series episode will be back again next month with the Modern Jazz Quartet album Space. And what an absolutely fantastic cover there is on that album. And I believe John Lennon actually liked that album cover as well. So next week's video is the penultimate Beatles UK album series, episode 12, and it's the wonderful Abbey Road LP, which is my second favourite Beatles album. So make sure you're here next week, same Beatles time, same Beatles channel. So anyway, as always guys, if you enjoy what I'm doing, why not give us a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any future videos. This is BeatleDave signing off.